Okay, I'd say we can start. Again, good morning to everyone. If you could please keep your microphone on mute, just to avoid any noise in the background. It's a pleasure to have you here today. The goal of this short session today is to hopefully being able to answer some of your questions and introduce what the course is about to those who still have to make up their mind. You'll have the possibility to talk to me, George Lestro. I'm the course director. I've been the course director for the past few years. Dr. Nikki Gnunaris, who is our head of postgraduate studies. She's the one who looks after all the masters and all the PhD programs in the department. And Professor Andel, who is the head of the department. So I think the best way to start is actually to let Professor Andel introduce herself and the department. And explain to you why this is we're particularly proud of our department. Please.
Thank you, Giorgio. Hello, everybody. My name is Andel. I'm the head of department. I'm going to, if you just bear with me for a moment, I am going to share a few slides with you. And Giorgio and Nikki, could you tell me whether the slides are up?
They are up, not in presentation mode, but they're up. That's fine.
Okay, I can get them in presentation mode, I think. So presentation, fine. Yeah. All fine. Okay. Welcome, everyone. As I said, I am the head of department, and I just want to tell you a little bit about who we are and where we are. I expect that you probably all know, because you've applied to come here, you all know that we're in London. And but I just thought you might not know exactly where we are, and might not have an idea of what are absolutely amazing surroundings for Imperial College. So this is a view of what is a big cultural and scientific centre in the southwest of London, South Kensington. On the top of the slide, you'll see there's Hyde Park, and which obviously is a nice place to go for a walk if you happen to come to, if you decide you are coming to Imperial College. We are based in several buildings in the centre of the big complex, as you can see highlighted in the middle there. And not far away are museums like the Science Museum, Victoria and Albert, Natural History, etc. And also the Royal Albert Hall. Some of you might have heard about that. So a little bit about the department in terms of its metrics. We're approximately 90 academic staff. We have a number of highly experienced teaching fellows in addition to our academic staff. And we also have independent research fellows. These are young early career researchers who've obtained their own independent fellowships. And all of our academic staff, teaching fellows and independent research fellows, are involved in teaching our master's courses. So if you do choose to come, you will have the opportunity to meet with all of the people within those categories. We have approximately 200 postdocs in the department, about 170 PhD students, and importantly, which is why it's highlighted in red there, we have about 220 master students. We have also around about 1,000 actually undergraduates, and we have a lot of support staff to support our research and teaching, including professional support staff and technical support staff. As you've already seen, I think, from who is talking to you this morning, our academic staff come from a great variety of countries around the world. And this map here gives an indication that with the numbers are the numbers of individual academic staff, and this is true also of our other staff and our postdocs and our students. So you will be joining a multicultural, multinational community if you do come to join us. The department spans all the way in terms of its research and teaching, all the way from molecules, all the way up to ecosystems. And the ABB course that you've applied for essentially maps onto the majority of that spectrum. It doesn't go all the way to ecosystems, although obviously if you're interested in that, we would give you the opportunity to engage a little with that. But the communities and ecosystems part of the department is predominantly based at our what is in essence a rural campus. It's not that far away, it's about 25 miles away. It's on the southwest side of London. So the expertise in the department, in addition to the biosciences, embraces physics, maths, chemistry, engineering, etc., and also very much enterprise, which again is a focus, as Giorgio will tell you shortly, of the ABB course. In terms of research themes in the department, all academic staff are mapped on to research themes, many onto more than one. We are a very interdisciplinary department, and we offer projects for the ABB course in the majority of the research themes in the department. So as you can see them on the slide here, they're also on our website if you want to look in more detail. We also interact very closely with other parts of the college. The centres and networks that are in the college are cross-departmental, cross-faculty, and many of those are directed or co-directed by academic staff within our department. And again, I'm not going to read out all the titles here, but this just gives you an indication of the diversity of activity both in the department and mapping onto other areas of the college. And again, projects that are undertaken within our master's courses are often undertaken in collaboration with other scientists, engineers, medical clinicians, etc., across the college. So it's a great pleasure to have you all joining us today, and I very much hope that you will make up your mind to come and join us next year, because it is a fun course. I actually started it a number of years ago, so it is a course that's very close to my heart, and I'm sure you will enjoy it if you do choose to come. So thank you very much again, and I'll hand you back to Giorgio. I will just unshare my slide.
Brilliant. Yes. I think if you give a last click, you should end the slideshow or unshare.
All right. Yes.
We're still on the black screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Anne. Right. So I had also a couple of slides that I wanted to show before we go on to the questions. Here they are. Right. So first of all, I wanted to explain why we decided to create this course now several years ago, and what happened to the students who joined this course in the past. The course was meant to fill a niche and a need that was emerging when it was created, but is now completely emerged, I would say. And that's the need for graduates with very good understanding in certainly biology, certainly biotechnology, but also their applications, both in industry and academia. And what do I mean by application in industry and academia? Well, application in industry is probably easy to grasp. It means anything from creating your own startup to joining a startup to joining a major organization. And in academia, it also means not simply perform experiments, but understand why those experiments are important, plan a project line as if you were really the principal investigator of yourself, and create a career as a leader in research. I think we managed to do that. Most of our students end up shortly after graduating joining the activity that they wanted to. About one-third to one-fourth of them continue to a PhD. The remaining going into industry. And industry spans from biotech, pharma. We also have a number of people going into patent lawyers activity, And some move completely to tangential fronts like hedge funding and financial activities. So it's a course that allows you to broaden your horizon, but at the same time, it gives you that level of spatial knowledge that actually gives you the advantage to then continue. It's an international course, so we are looking at the European market, we are looking at the worldwide market, the Chinese market, and the students reflect that is in international aspects of the course. We have normally about only 1/4 or 1/5 of the students actually from the UK. Most students come from abroad, either from Europe or from outside the borders of Europe, particularly Asia and the United States and Canada. And so it's from that point of view, I think it's particularly fun because you interact with people coming from all over the world. It is divided in, say, 4 wings. Some of them are overlapping, but we cover in general lectures because this is a taught course after all. But we have a very good coverage of practical experience, and that spans from bioinformatics, coursework in Python, for instance, lab exercises, and then almost half of the course is actually spent doing research analysis and research projects, either to the tutor dissertation or with a lab project. We also invest in soft and translational skills, and as I said before, we pride ourselves to be able to expose you to a number of experts in industry that talk to you about biotechnology, about building a business, about career and personal development. So what is the structure of the course? You might be familiar with this. Just want to emphasize, the course starts in October. In fact, I think the academic year for 2020 is supposed to be the last Monday of September, so possibly the 28th of September. And the first term, all the way to the Christmas break, is a taught term. You'll then have an exam in January, shortly after the Christmas break. And then you'll jump into the second taught term. The second taught term is followed by 2 exams shortly after the Easter break. And that closes the taught component of the course. From that on, you move into one-to-one connection with research active academics, first through a tutor dissertation, which lasts a few weeks until June. And I will have you produce a review in a publishable format. And then after that, you'll engage into a research project in the lab. So you see that the first part of the course, concentrated in the first part of the year, is mostly taught, and the second part is mostly hands-on and practical. Throughout the course, we have, and I shown here in the purple line below, this Career Business Innovation Seminar Series, which consists of speakers coming mostly from outside of Imperial College. These are former CEOs of industries, people involved in governmental policy, inventors, lawyers, people who founded startup. We even have former alumni of the course talking to you about their career and answering your question about how to become as successful as they were. Regarding the taught term, these are the module we call them teams that we cover. They are all organized in what we call grand challenges, and that's because they were meant to cover topics that are important and topical, in fact, at this very moment. And so you recognize here things that are crucial for societal development, like antibiotic resistance, big data and data-driven biology, plants and animal health for sustainable food production, neuroscience of aging, because that's what happens to the population at the moment, but also technical skills like proteomics and adenomics. And then in the second taught term, we have stem cells and regenerative medicine, which are very hot topic in the biotech industry, as you know. Insect biotechnology, again, related to, for instance, climate change, but also, controlling malaria. Then we have a module on biotechnology entrepreneurship, and finally one on synthetic biology. Each of these teams is organized in a similar way. So they do have a component of actual lectures, the ones you would expect from a university such as Imperial. But then about 50% of it, so the other half, is actually composed of master level hands-on development. So research lectures, review of recent literature together with a convener, exercise from the students into producing successful impact and communication, and then other things like workshops and laboratory and practical activities. So finally, after that, you move on to the tutor dissertation and the research project. And here I showed again the same slide that Anna has before to highlight that those activities will be embedded within a research group of our department. So there is a wide range of topics you'll be able to cover. So it should be, normally it does fulfill everyone's interest. For the tutor dissertation, it will be completely your choice, which topic you want to choose. You'll be the one proposing a title, an abstract, and then a tutor will be assigned to you to help you with that. For the lab project, you obviously join an existing project and be part of the research team for several weeks. So this is a full-time experience in the lab. You participate in all the team meetings and you interact basically as if you were a PhD student. So that's pretty much what I wanted to say. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer. I'm sure Aniki Gunaris is much more on top of matter regarding possible changes coming next year. But in general, the rules regulation of master students. So if you have any questions, you can, I suppose, either raise your hand, clicking on your button, or you might just type them in the chat and I'll read them out loud for you. So go to the chat now. Here we are. You might also want to unmute yourself and ask, but okay. So Eugenie, so what do I do here? I can unmute you, I suppose.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. Good morning. First of all, thank you very much for organizing this Q&A. And I guess I'm going to start asking the question that I think everybody is wondering, which is if you have any more information about what the next semester is going to look like regarding COVID and how the course is going to be run.
Right. So obviously, this is, I suppose, it's a critical question for everyone. So I tell you what we're doing. We are preparing for what we call a mixed model of teaching. So that means that we're preparing basically for anything that might happen. We are in a particularly fortunate position. Our course is particularly fortunate, I would say, because as I showed to you, all the first activity is really taught. We don't have much practicals in the first term, and those we have can be easily moved to a later stage. So if it's really true, what most people believe, that if there is any second wave might actually happen in the autumn and winter, I think we will be easily in the position of being able to carry on activities from remote if that is needed. So at this point, I think no one really knows what is going to happen, but what I can say is that we are making contingencies for any scenarios. We are currently teaching online. We actually had exams online even. I don't expect the situation to be so dramatic next year, but we were ready to short-term contingencies till now. I don't know, Nikki, do you want to say something else?
Well, I just wanted to say that this current year, when we locked down in March, the course has been successfully operating under complete lockdown. As Georgia said, we had exams remotely and we continued teaching remotely. Everything was online, everything was put online on time and went on very well. The assessments, like for tutor dissertation assessments, they're taking place online on Teams, and that is very successful. So what we are ready for next October is, if things are as bad as now, and I can't believe they're going to be as bad as now, but if they are as bad as now, we will continue doing what we're very successfully doing at the moment. Now, Georgia said blended or mixed learning. That is, if some of you are here and some of you are not here, then we will do the teaching both ways. We will deliver teaching online and we will deliver teaching face-to-face. If things change and you're all here, there is no problem. We hope that even if there is a second wave of infection, it will only affect the autumn term. So we are ready for either complete online teaching or we are ready for blended mixed teaching for the first autumn, the first term. Equally, we are equally prepared for the second term, but I don't know, but that's going to be very unlikely that we're going to be the same situation for an entire year from the time of the first lockdown.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Yes, Anthony.
Sorry, I just wanted to say thank you. I think that makes a lot of sense. And I'm glad to hear that the exams were able to happen. I guess I also want to extend that to research projects. Do you think that that could be disrupted by any potential lockdown or restrictions in movement?
So for research project to be disrupted, that would mean that the situation will go all the way to the next summer, basically, because research project starts in June. I think this is extremely unlikely. If that really had to happen, we will carry the research project the way we do it now, which means data analysis, grant proposals, but we probably do a better job because we have 12 months to prepare to it. So now, we managed to run things and students are happy and everyone is safe, and it was a very short notice. I suppose if we really had to imagine that things were to continue like this for a whole year, we would be in a different position to prepare contingencies. But I think what is fortunate about this course is that the structure is such that all the hands-on activity are later in the year. So I think it's very unlikely that this thing will continue for so long. Definitely not on this level of lockdown, for sure.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, Tasni.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for doing this. I just wanted to ask if there was any way that we'll be sent recommended reading before the start of the course.
We usually don't do that. We can do it. We can do it if you send us an email, or we can do it this year. Given the circumstances are slightly different. We usually don't do it because a lot of what we cover is very modern literature, current papers. We even have research seminars by people actually doing the research and before even publishing it. So we work with the assumption that everyone has a general understanding of biology and genetics. That's how we were selected for admission. And so that is normally the starting point for everybody. I can tell you that in the first term, the one activity that people find perhaps a bit more challenging is the bioinformatics and the Python. But by the end of the term, everyone is fluent with that because we had enough contact hours and one-to-one coursework with Derek. So if anyone wants to start practicing a bit of Python over the summer, that is probably something that will not hurt. But we don't have normally a recommended set of reading to start the year.
Okay, thank you very much.
Anybody else? Tasha?
Hello,
Hi.
thank you for doing this. I have a question regarding the tutored dissertation and the research project. So I understand that you kind of choose a discipline to go into. So is the research project like a continuation of the tutored dissertation that you do? So do you choose a topic, research it, and then go on to do a lab project in that particular area? And also, is there a gap between the tutored dissertation and the research project, or do you just kind of roll straight into it?
All right, so regarding the first question, the topic of the tutored dissertation is completely up to you. So the students have sometimes to think about something they are passionate about, or something they want to research. The expertise of the academic staff in the department is wide enough that we have enough people to cover even exotic topics. And so you meet with someone who can help you out writing what you want to write. But the research work of the tutor dissertation is on you, and it's a satisfying experience, I would say. After that, you move to a lab project, which is, say, chosen by a range of projects. So obviously, you will have to join a project that is already existing in the lab, because there is not enough time within a few weeks to start something completely from scratch. The topic can be similar. In principle, can even be the same, if you really, that's what you want to do. We just, usually we normally not work in a condition where you will not have the same tutor. So if the tutor who helped you for the tutor dissertation cannot be the same tutor who will then supervise you for the lab project. And this is just because we want to make sure that we enrich the experience of the students so that they widen their horizon, as I said before, as much as possible. I know the students often, they tend to want to specialize at this stage already, but it's really the strength of this course is the ability to give you more options. And it happened countless times. The students join thinking that they loved one topic, and then they finish actually realizing that they loved another one because they haven't not heard about it and they have not experienced it before. And so that's really what we try to achieve, to make sure that you are aware of what is available, not just in the department, but in general in the field. And the other question is, things are really fast-paced within the course. It's a full-time course, 12 months. There are not many gaps between activities beside the ones at Christmas and Easter. So there is very short, a very small gap between the tutor dissertation and the lab project. And during that gap, you're preparing for your post-tutor dissertation examination anyway. So you should expect quite a fast-paced course in which things move quickly from one week to the next. Yes.
Okay. Brilliant. Thank you.
Any more questions? Another question by Eugenie?
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to build up on what Tasha just asked about the research project. Is there, so I assume that within the possibilities of projects that we could have, it'd be from professors that work within the department. My question would be, if we find a topic that's being covered by another researcher that's not necessarily inside the natural science department, but that falls under what we studied, would it be possible to participate in a project like that?
Normally not. We've had instances where something like this could be achieved through a mean of collaboration, where you basically collaborate with two supervisors. One of them is within the department, and one of them might be outside of the department. But normally, this is something that students don't really seek once they realize the kind of expertise that is within the department. I like to say that the UK government runs a assessing exercise for research every 7 years. It's called the REF, and our department was judged as the best university department in the field of life sciences in the whole of the UK. So I mean, not for bragging, but it is usually something that say students are looking forward to in terms of joining research at this level of activity. I suppose the reason why both Anne and I show you this slide about the research teams is because we invite you to go and have a look at the website, familiarize with the research we do, perhaps read some of the papers already, which actually, yes, could be useful activity for the summer if you really want to do some reading activity. So there is some levy to do some collaborations, and we've had people, for instance, I think once a year going to the creek or things like this, but that's definitely not the normal instances.
Yes, I just wanted to intercept here that students, why we haven't got perhaps a clear answer to your question, Eugenie, is because we've never actually, students don't want to leave our department. Students want to stay and do their research in our department. And as Georgia just said, we did have once somebody who went to work in the Crick Institute, but that was part of a collaborative project between the Crick Institute and our department. So we've never had a situation in which a student said, I want to go and do a project in medicine, or I want to do a project in physics, or I want to do a project in maths or chemistry. People want to stay within our department, and we have such a breadth of expertise in our department. As Professor Dell said earlier on, we have 90 members of academic staff. They are all working at the cutting edge of their research field. So for sure, people find an area they want to work on.
All right, thank you.
Right, I think we have time for a couple more questions if there are more.
What is it that concerns you, if anything? Is there anything that you are concerned about? That's great. No concerns.
It's a properly framed question. Okay, well, if you can think of any other question later on, I suppose now maybe you can think of anything, feel free to drop me an email. You have my email address now because I invited all of you to this session. Write me an email and I'll reply to it. If there will be another session like this one, it will certainly happen at a different time of the day to accommodate people who are on a different time zone, but you'll be alerted in any case. Okay. So I suppose for now, this is it. I thank you all for being here. We've recorded this session, so I will share the recording of the video with all of you if you want to go through it once more. You'll probably have subtitles because I know that the Teams does this, add subtitles. And for now, that's it. Thank you, Nikki, and thank you, Anne.
Thank you. And perhaps I could just finish with one little comment about if any of you have decided you won't ask the question, but you are thinking it, is will we have research for you to come to if we are in an extended lockdown? The answer to that is absolutely yes. We have kept everything, as it were, alive during the lockdown. So all of the mosquitoes for the malaria research have been tended by technicians coming in on rotas with social distancing, mice, etc. And we are just planning for a phased emergence from the lockdown starting next week with social distancing in all of the labs. So we are slowly restarting our research from the beginning of June. Okay, so that's to reassure you that the research is still staying on track in our department. And it's lovely to have heard some of you, seen some of you, and I look forward to seeing you in October.
All right. Thanks a lot, everyone, and have a rest of the day. Have a rest of the good day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.